Hi guys, welcome to weekly travel updates. I was very distracted by these streaking lights in the tree. Ooh, that's pretty weird. Uh, anyway, welcome to weekly travel updates. It is the end of the year. I am Melinda Vargas. I own Action Travel, and in 2025, we will celebrate 35 years of serving this community. Um, we're very proud. We still stand strong, even though we closed the office, and I am working privately now. We're taking off on a group cruise on Wednesday, on January 1st. And so I'll be in the Southern Caribbean, be watching my page, and I'll see if I can go live from down there. Well, tonight, we have a lot to discuss. First on board is, it's not great news for the new year, but it is the CDC's warnings. Now, it's so serious that the state of California have taken it to a state of emergency over the bird flu. See, this came about several years ago, and it was poultry. And then when it infected some cows through a different strand, it became more serious. There hadn't been any serious illnesses from it until this week. And in Louisiana, a person has very serious symptoms. And so they're getting very serious about it. It seems it has mutated. And, like what we saw with the pandemic, we're not sure what this brings, but Governor Newsom in California, he thinks that it's pretty serious, and he's declared state of an emergency. Now, norovirus. Norovirus is what you would call the stomach bug. It has been reported in several hotels, theme parks, some public transportation across the U.S. There are numerous sightings of norovirus, and I'm going to share. It's not very much fun, but it's out there, and I need to make you aware of it. Then, I don't know if Spain is in your plans. I know one family that is going shortly. But there are terrorist plots for terrorism in Spain, even inflicted on tourism. And that's where we're included. It says to avoid large crowds, not to be in the middle of large crowds or in tourist gatherings. Well, that's pretty hard. And there was a plot that was foiled, but it had terrorism written all over it for transportation of tourists. And so now we have this to make you aware of. I have put links down in the comments this time for all of these stories so that you can see for yourself. I get calls, and it's just as simple for me to include it to begin with so that you can follow up and you can read more about what is most important to you. The next story is sad as well. It is about an elderly lady who had an electric scooter wheelchair, and they were in St. Martin. There were about 6 ships that were docked, and for some unknown reason, she went off the pier. I'll tell you more about it shortly. And this weekend, I hope you weren't traveling. There were thousands of flight delays and cancellations. There were high winds and snowstorms, heavy snowstorms out west. So all those flights that were coming east they're kind of feeder flights. They leave out there early in the morning and they get here and it's still morning for us, and they feed flights on the East Coast. But when they don't leave the West Coast, they can't reach the East Coast. And so there were thousands of flight delays. Again, some leaks are listed there. Before I get too deep, this weekend, our 39th president, Jimmy Carter, passed away, and he was a Nobel Peace Prize winner. He was the president when I became legal, so from 1979 to 1981, and he was best known and is receiving all kinds of accolades now as a humanitarian. What he did for medical research, both here and abroad. And he and his wife, Rosalind, were a great part of humanitarian efforts. Then I saw today that Linda, I can't remember her last name, but she played Rhoda when I was growing up, that she passed away. Oh, she also played on Alice for about 10 years for The Next Generation. Let's go back to the CDC. Serious cases in Louisiana have really caused attention. And I'll give you an example. On a Royal Caribbean sailing recently, a couple sit down with another couple. Sometimes you have to remember stranger danger. So especially when we're around Norovirus, if you don't know these people, you don't know who they've been around, maybe you choose not to sit with strangers. But in this instance, that wasn't the case. Two couples sat together, and during their conversation, they asked what one couple did, and they said they were farmers. They asked what kind of farmers, and when they said that they raised beef cattle, the other couple got up and went to the maitre d' and asked for that couple to be moved. I don't know why they just couldn't have gotten up and left the table and not made a scene, but that is the fear, is in one type of bird flu, a lot of agriculture, a lot of staff for farm workers, agriculture staff that are involved with animals, they have been affected. It's just not been serious. And this new strand is serious. Okay. The norovirus bug I've gotten it on a cruise before. And just this year, we've had 14 breakouts of norovirus on ships. I think that's what everybody fears, is they'll go on a ship and get sick. I had it on a group cruise along with one of my speakers, and we both spent days in the cabin. It's a upset stomach, diarrhea sometimes. It's not fun, but it is everywhere. And now that hotels are having to post information like that as well, and theme parks, it's getting out about theme parks, and public transportation. It's just a reminder to wash your hands. Be careful. Be more cautious than you might normally be. Okay, then when we talk about these terrorists in Spain, go read the State Department's travel advisory. It seemed pretty dear. It was not good. They're not saying don't go, like they are saying don't go to Trinidad and Tobago because of the civil unrest that's going on right now. They're not saying that, but it is getting more extreme. I really want to go to Spain, but if there is civil unrest or terrorism threats, promises leads that they're following, I don't have to go this year. So, okay. During this weekend, with all of these storms and the flight cancellations, one way to avoid this is to check with your carrier before you leave your home to make sure the flight is on time and it's not been delayed, or very rarely, but sometimes moved up 20 or 30 minutes to avoid a storm or a weather event. But if we checked before we left home, you would be far ahead than rushing to the airport only to find that flights have been delayed. Or, regretfully, many people are dealing with cancellations even still. The Northeast was hit very hard. And again, the way flights come from the west to the east, flights come from the north to the south. They might start in New York, pick up in Washington or Baltimore or Raleigh, Durham, or Greensboro, and head further south to ports or cities in Florida. So I think that going forward, if you could get in a great habit of just checking your flight times and checking with the carrier, put in your reservation number and it will give your flight information. And I put my cell phone number down so that they text me. As we're getting ready to leave, we're leaving on the 1st on Wednesday for our Southern Caribbean sailing. I had sent out an email to my travelers just as a reminder. And if you're getting ready to travel, think about these things. Call your credit card company, call your cell phone company, and make them aware where you're going to be. We're going to be out of the country. I took an international plan for 3 days. It will be well worth it. That way I'll call and check on mom and her helpers. So just one of the things to do. Guys, we are wrapping up 2024. And in 2025, we are looking at a September departure, actually the 28th of August departure, for a 8-day trip to Hawaii. If you have interest in Hawaii, please reach out to me. I will be out of pocket except by email occasionally from January 1st to January 11th. We're going to Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, and Grand Cayman with 5 days at sea. So first 3 days will just be R&R in the sunshine. I hope it'll be sunshine. And while I'm gone, they could have the first snowstorm that we have had in years. It doesn't make me not want to go, but I sure did hate that when I heard the weather report. Guys, reach out to me if I can help you. Direct message me if you have interest in our Asia trip for 2026. You won't believe this, but this 11-day trip, 11-day sailing, will go from Singapore to Taipei. And if we include airfare from Raleigh, Durham, we are less than $13,000 for international airfare into Singapore, the cruise, your beverages, your Wi-Fi, specialty dining. It's on Norwegian Cruise Line. And if you have interest, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about it after this cruise. Ciao and Happy New Year. Here's to being more alive in 2025. I can help you do that. Reach out to me. I'll send you around the world. We deliver the world to you. Thanks. Ciao.